CBS News Miami.
And thank you for joining us. I'm Keith Jones, and welcome to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. Let's get to it. Here's today's top stories. Get you outside with a live look. Check this out. Windy and gray, but tomorrow we're going to have to prepare for what's going to get worse. So let's check in with next weather meteorologist Cindy Presler to join us now to break down our weekend weather.
Unfortunately, Keith, it's not going to be a good day. Oh, I know. We've been talking about this for quite a while. So tomorrow looks like this will be the worst out of the last few days. We've had these gray skies, the winds, my goodness, again, gusting over 40 miles per hour. Right now, we've got an overcast gray sky. There are some showers out there, but not a lot of heavy rain. 73 degrees in Miami with a gust of 29, 35 mile per hour gusts in the Fort Lauderdale area. Temperature today did make it into the mid 70s, but we're just going to sit right here, low to mid 70s, even into the evening hours. This is what we're looking ahead to. Heavy rain and storms tomorrow. There's even a chance that we could see strong to severe storms. It's one of those days you really have to pay attention, especially as we go into tomorrow evening, overnight into Sunday morning. Flooding will be possible. Saturated grounds, those areas that do get quite a bit of rain, we're going to watch for that. Strong winds, well, that's not going away. Even as the center of low pressure moves away, our winds are still going to be gusty, but changing directions. So we have a significant threat for severe weather. This is pretty high here, considering the time of the year it is. So all of South Florida has now been upgraded to a significant risk that we could see even isolated tornadoes out of this system. It's an area of low pressure, almost like a tropical system coming through. It'll be very similar. Windy conditions, rain, and of course that threat that we could see some stronger storms. So a flood watch now midnight to Sunday morning. Parts of Broward County, all of Miami-Dade, and we're going to take that all the way down to the Keys as well because of this rain that is expected to come in. That frontal system is still stalled, but we're getting the effects of an area of high pressure sitting over the mid-Atlantic states, sending us that strong easterly flow. So we're going to combine that with an area of low pressure that will develop down here in the Gulf of Mexico, and that's going to be the problem tomorrow. That's the one that is going to make its way across the Florida Peninsula and bring us some rotation there into the atmosphere, and that's when you could see some small spin-up tornadoes, so we're going to watch that carefully. Heavier rain out in the Gulf right now. We continue to see this onshore flow with the wind, so these little scattered showers, again, they're little streamers that continue to come in. It's light rain, kind of annoying rain, because it's moving sideways with these gusty winds. Even down the Keys, not a lot of heavy rain today, so today has just been one of those gray days with those winds gusting 40, maybe even up to 45 miles per hour. Wind advisory continues until Sunday morning for the coastal areas. Again, tomorrow those gusts will be over 30, 35, 40 miles per hour, so all the marine conditions, gale warnings in effect, high surf. We've got rip current risk, just best to stay off the water. Do not even go near it. There's the low pressure that's going to scoot across central Florida. We will get the south side of it with the showers and the thunderstorms clearing out quickly, though, by the time we get to Sunday. Overall, anywhere from about 2 to 4 inches is expected as far as rainfall, so our temperatures will sit in the 70s. The next week, much cooler. We're going back into the 50s for overnight lows.
All right, that looks good. Thank you. All right, let's head to Dania Beach now. That's where preparations for this nasty weather already taking place. CBS News Miami's Jacqueline Quinn has the latest.
The latest we have right now is that Dania Beach is closed, and officials let us in back here to show you why. You can see the rough waves out here, and also there is no beachfront right here. They've even moved some of those guard towers all the way to the back here. And if you take a walk over here to the parking lots, this is another concern. People wanting the folks to know out there that if you drive in here, this water can get flooded with water and you may end up getting stuck. So they closed it off. And when you're walking around, of course, on the floor here, you see Portuguese man o' wars. That can cause people some irritation. But the beach, not the only thing that's closed around here.
So in Hollywood, we have a monthly art walk in downtown that unfortunately has been canceled because of the weather.
Joanne Hussey is with the city of Hollywood, and she wants folks to be aware that bad weather will be impacting residents throughout the weekend.
Our Friday night movie at Arts Park is also canceled.
And it's not just the events that people need to monitor.
We also have a micro transit system called the Sun Shuttle. Because of the high winds, it's unsafe for those to operate right now. It's my understanding that the wind event may switch over to a rain event, and in that case, the low-lying areas of Hollywood are prone to flooding.
Meanwhile, on the water, the National Weather Service is calling for gale warnings today through Sunday, with winds gusting up to 48 miles per hour and seas in some places near Miami going up to 19 feet.
There's those kind of conditions. There's no place for recreational boaters to be underway. There's no place for any kind of recreational boats to be out and about.
And yet the U.S. Coast Guard says there are some who may not heed this warning.
Thrill seekers in this kind of weather always get in trouble. They don't think they're going to get in trouble. Their intention is not to get in trouble. Their intention is just to have a good time.
And with the winds and the potential rain whipping up here, we know right now that the Pompano Beach Boat Parade, that's been rescheduled for December 21st. For now, in Dania Beach, I'm Jacqueline Quinn, CBS News, Miami.
All right, we are exactly 1 month from voters in Iowa making the first decision of the 2024 campaign. This afternoon, we're getting a closer look now at how the DeSantis campaign is working to woo caucus goers. CBS News Miami's Jim DeFeeti is in Iowa, where he spoke to a member of the PAC supporting Governor DeSantis and to political reporter in Des Moines.
Now, 8 years ago, when Donald Trump, nearly won the Iowa caucus, he had no operation here. They do argue that they do have an operation this time around. What are you seeing? What do you see from the Trump side?
I'm sure they do have an operation around. I know Trump likes to have these big events, and that's pretty much the only thing he shows up to. What I can tell you is that Ron DeSantis is out there beating the streets with the rest of us. He's hit all 99 counties in the state of Iowa.
You supported Donald Trump in 16 and 20.
I did.
Why now Ron DeSantis?
I'll be honest with you. I'm kind of sick of the political theater. It's become the Donald Trump show. And I'm sick of watching the Donald Trump show. And I want somebody that's going to actually step up and show true leadership, come in and bring morality and integrity back to the White House and get this country set back on track.
Amanda, I just want to get your reaction. As you were watching that, you said, I've got a point I want to make. Go ahead.
Well, one thing I want to explain maybe to some of your Florida viewers.
Please translate Iowa for us.
Well, yes. So one very unique point and part of the caucus that's different than a primary is when you go into that room, each campaign is allowed to have someone in the room give a speech before people decide which candidate they want to support. And there, when he was talking about DeSantis's ground game, one thing that has really set DeSantis apart is he has these coalitions of people in Iowa. He has coalitions of parents, coalitions of pastors, coalitions of police officers and sheriffs. And why that specifically matters is there is over 1,600 different precinct locations that Iowans are going to gather in, basements, churches. And DeSantis will now have influential people, mothers, or the pastor that everyone knows in that community, that sheriff or police officer that will be able to make a compelling speech. And I just talked to an Iowan the other day who said a couple caucus cycles ago, he went in to the caucus having a candidate he planned to support. He listened to a compelling speech for another candidate, and he changed his mind.
All right, interesting perspective there. All right, we hope you're going to join us for an encore presentation of our special Voters Decide, and catch it tonight at 8 o'clock and 11:30 on the CBS News Miami stream. You can find it on the CBS News app, cbsmiami.com, Pluto TV, and your favorite streaming platform. Also look for much more of Jim's trip to Iowa on Sunday morning at 8:30 right here on Facing South Florida. Now to the Israel-Hamas war. More than 2 months into Israel's campaign against Hamas, U.S. officials are uneasy about the mounting civilian death toll in Gaza. The U.S. is pushing Israel to wind down its intensive combat while acknowledging this fight will still take months. CBS News Miami's Willie James Inman reports from the White House.
The daily sight of smoke over the Gaza Strip is a reminder Israel is not done with its mission to destroy Hamas. In an Israeli military video released Friday, the head of Israel's intelligence directorate said the war is a multi-arena campaign, and there are many months ahead. The U.S. has acknowledged it's going to take time, but is pushing Israel to scale back high-intensity combat in favor of more precise targeting of Hamas leaders.
From our perspective, distinguishing between innocent Palestinian people on the one hand and Hamas on the other hand is not just a moral question. It's also a strategic question for Israel.
U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan is in the region meeting with both Israel and the Palestinian Authority, discussing a timetable for winding down the intense combat phase. That could come in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
The other pressing question is what happens after the war. The Biden administration envisions a revitalized role for the Palestinian Authority in governing Gaza.
Thank you for coming in.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said that won't happen on his watch. In a meeting with the Red Cross Thursday, Netanyahu urged the organization to apply pressure for the return of more than 100 hostages.
You have every avenue, every right, and every expectation to place public pressure on Hamas.
He also presented a box of medication and first aid for the hostages, predicting Hamas would reject delivery on the spot. Willie James Inman, CBS News, the White House.
More news right after the break. All right, welcome back to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. We're going to do a little Fins on CBS Miami right now. The Miami Dolphins will try to improve to 10-4 on the season when they take on the New York Jets on Sunday. Miami looking to bounce back following a shocking loss to the Tennessee Titans on Monday night. Still unclear right now if Tyreek Hill will play. The Fins will be also without offensive lineman Connor Williams after he suffered a torn ACL. Miami leads the AFC right now by 2 games. It's the AFC East specifically over the Buffalo Bills, although there are 4 games to play still. You can catch that game 1 p.m. right here on CBS Miami. And your Dolphin station's got you covered all day Sunday. It starts with the Coach Mike McDaniel show at 11 o'clock, followed by Dolphins Weekly Live. Then the Jets, Dolphins, they kick off at 1 o'clock. And we're going to wrap it all up with the 5th quarter show right here and only on CBS Miami. That does it right now for CBS News Miami's Quickcast. I'm Keith Jones. Stay tuned for more news right here on CBS Miami.